right, let's do it live on a First Friday Miracle edition of Cleveland Browns Daily. I am merely Bo. He is the great Z. There's a chill in the air, and we are on to Cincinnati. Your head quarterback is going to talk here momentarily from the podium. When Deshaun Watson gets there, we will have that for you. How you living, buddy?
I'm good. How are you? It's been I'd say it's been an interesting
24 hours.
Yeah.
Interesting 24 hours. I dropped a kid off, a buddy of Peyton's off on the way home from basketball and all of these things last night, and I pulled into their neighborhood, and beautiful neighborhood. 6 houses I counted had Christmas tree lights up. Had Christmas lights up. Yeah, 6 of them. Ready to go. Lights up. Now,
unacceptable.
That's early, and I love it.
I love it. On the other end, I have no issue with you leave it. You want to leave your Christmas stuff up until February? Live, baby. Whatever makes you happy. Each to their own.
Yes.
But this seems really aggressive.
Oh, it's very early. Yes, there's no doubt about it. It's incredibly early.
I feel like November 1.
It's stunning. It's stunning how early it is.
Is the first go of it. Is November 1.
At least get through Halloween.
Yeah. And I do think that Thanksgiving has been usurped. When we were kids, it felt to me like Thanksgiving was a big deal. I don't think Thanksgiving at all anymore.
It still is, but people think of Halloween and then they think of Christmas.
I think Halloween has usurped it. I think Halloween has taken over for Thanksgiving, and I think you just kind of brush through the Thanksgiving. But, yeah, Christmas lights.
That's pretty wild.
That's a real one.
You mentioned you said 24 hours. How about that? The article, the letter, whatever you want to call it, in the Players Tribune from Nick Chubb today.
I didn't see it coming.
So powerful.
I didn't see it coming.
Incredible.
Nick is, you know this, I know this, everybody here in the building knows it. He is create a player at its apex.
Yep.
Not just on the field, off. Like all 99s. 99 awareness, 99 work ethic, 99 strength, 99 speed. Like perfect. And we've never heard him bare his soul like that.
No. And, in fact, he's been with us since the 2018 NFL Draft, and there were a lot of things in there that I think were new to a great many people who've even known him, as well as you can, working in the building with him.
In the old days, his rookie year, prior to COVID, he would come up here, and we had him in a couple of times that rookie year, and we did the Grinders story. Your buddy owned that restaurant. Grindhouse, yeah, the Grindhouse place, and he liked that joint, and we would come in here, and we would have him in, and we got along really well, and haven't had him in years, but did, and we'd have a good time, and we'd get to know him a little bit, as well as you could. And so, yeah, that's what it was for me too, because, and you even more so than me in that you're always here, but there were so many things that were illuminating, and I just think it was an incredible window into the soul of a man, and it was impressive. I think it takes courage to write and put all that stuff out there, and I know that he's speaking with the media, and I'm sure we'll play some of that. But it was an emotional thing, cathartic. I would think would be on his end. I hope anyway.
Yeah, what powerful female figures in his life, his mom and his grandma, who sounded like quite a character, but not somebody you wanted to be on the wrong side of.
No.
I love what he said. The rocks ain't going to move themselves. Incredibly powerful and just awesome. And I thought the note in there that, Andrew Barry told him, or told his agent, that, it's not just about what he means to this team, but what he means to this city. I thought that was a pretty special thing. And that is you saw his agent say right there, that is an incredibly rare thing. He's never heard that at any other point in his career.
I think what Nick kind of embodies everything you want a Cleveland Brown to be.
Yes.
From an accountability, from a performance, from a human, and we said that even when we found out he was going back and activated back to practice, and you said, well, there's going to be a higher level of accountability just from everybody else, not because Nick's a rah-rah guy. He's actually the opposite of that.
Yes.
But because of if that guy going through what he went through is out here working, then what the hell are we doing?
You got to be working. Yep.
Then I better be.
Yep.
What's my excuse?
Yep.
If he's doing that, what's my excuse? And I think the image that was just ingrained in my head, and I hadn't thought about it in a while because, it's been a while and you're on to the next, and this is a sport where there's injuries all the time. You got to deal with them and move on and try to move forward. And but the image that I hadn't thought about a while until I read the story and then saw the image was the look on his face on the back of that cart leaving Pittsburgh Stadium.
Yeah.
And the look on his face of a man who has been through this once before, knows what lays ahead and the realities now of your forget playing career, just like your life and what's
all
coming.
of it.
And like there is when you talk to guys who go through the rehab and they're out and that's why I think Nick Harris. I thought of Nick Harris too because I thought of Nick because he just went through it and now he's got to do it again.
Do it
and
again.
Like, my God, I just did this. Like maybe this ain't for me.
Yep.
I think you question everything.
Of course. How could you not?
Yeah. And so that image of him just sitting blank-faced, just a scowl on his face as he's on the back of that cart, knowing what his life is going to be like for the next year, hit me hard.
Yeah, and he knew it, and he's it's amazing too that there's so much shock that he doesn't even really realize how bad it is in the moment. That it was when he got the text message, he saw all the things and that he knew, and he didn't even know the first time around either. Just when you read it, it's emotional. I got emotional reading it, and I was on my way in, and it's just like wow. And you got to share this. Everybody should read this. And if you're a football fan, a Browns fan, a Nick Chubb fan, or just somebody who's dealing with trying to overcome adversity, I think it's a very powerful read and a great lesson. And it's great to get Nick Chubb back. And this team is in a very strange place right now. I think that's fair to say. But getting Nick Chubb back kind of restores at least a sense of normalcy and hope to right now what is looking, not great for the Cleveland Browns.
Who's his favorite superhero?
Batman.
What did Batman do when you throw the signal up?
He showed up.
And he showed up. That's it, right?
Yep.
Crazy stuff going on in Gotham. Bat signal. Let's go. Make it right. Now, I think it'd be naive to suggest in real life and in NFL football with a guy coming off of a catastrophic knee injury that everything's going to be all right.
Sure.
That I don't think no one would ever want to doubt Nick Chubb, but that's a lot for anybody to make all that ails this team right with just a return. But I'm mostly just incredibly thrilled for him that he's at this point.
Yeah.
And I thought it was great. And I think if you think about for the longest time, there's a generation of folks around here, Gibby's age, our age, but Gibby grew up here, you and I didn't, who look back so fondly on the Kozar Browns.
Yes. So he was saying that to me in the gym the other day. They're like, you didn't get to see
Deshaun's at the podium.
How fun this was.
Our equivalent of that for this generation is Nick Chubb and Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
They're this generation's that.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's head to the podium, Deshaun Watson.
Super nice to be able to have his presence, his energy, his work ethic, and just to have Chubb in the backfield. He definitely means a lot, not just for this offense, but for this community and this organization. So definitely, that excitement and hopefully that spark that we need to take it to another level.
You guys are motivated by a lot of things, but what is it like to see it? How inspiring is it to see a guy like that work that hard to get back after his second major surgery on his knee?
Yeah, it's super exciting. But we know that the work that, from day one of last year that he was going to put in that work. He looked all of us in the eyes and said that he wanted to be back. And he'll probably tell you that he wanted to be back a little bit sooner. But, protocol is definitely key, in health. So, I think it's the perfect time for us to get him back, coming back home, divisional rival, and get him some touches and let him, get back to playing football again.
What are your feelings about the Amari trade?
My feelings, the biggest thing is, of course, Coop is my brother. These last 3 years we got to know each other, not just on the field, but especially off the field, hanging out in the off season. Our families hanging out with each other. He helped me through some tough times that I was dealing with and vice versa. So, it's definitely tough to see a brother and see a teammate that mean a lot, not just for myself, but for the locker room, get traded away. But, you got to trust the organization and what AB and Kevin and those guys upstairs have planned. And, that's out of my control. But, at the same time, we're definitely going to miss him, and we appreciate everything he brought for this team and this organization.
Field, why do you think that you guys were just never able to form that connection, through the first 6 games of the season?
That's how the game goes sometimes. Sometimes you have some games, you have some games that don't. Teams scheme it up differently. new system, and just trying to find that rhythm. And it just didn't go that way the first couple games.
Doesn't the trade make your job even a little tougher going forward?
I mean, I trust all the guys in that room, and I trust that plan that Kevin and Ken is going to create for us to be able to go out there and execute and try to put up points to win and play winning football.
Now that you're into the work week, what gives you confidence that you guys can get better results?
I'm always confident. You got to have confidence stepping on the field. If you don't have no confidence, there's no reason for you to be out there on the field. So the biggest thing for us is just to continue to try to master this plan and go out there and play hard and try to execute at a high level. This is NFL football, so every Sunday is an opportunity for us to get better and go get a W.
You feel like the trade sends a bad message to the rest of you guys who are here trying to win, that they're willing to get rid of one of your best players?
And that's part of the business. I mean, at the end of the day. So for me, it's not a bad message. I've been in this league for 8 years, and I've seen it happen over time. So it's what the front office and the organization feel is best for I guess the organization and for that player. So for me, it's just it's part of the business, and it's part of how this world kind of goes. So you gotta control what you can control and accept it.
Do you think that the relationship between Amari and the front office really was too fractured after the Brandon Ayuk trade rumors earlier this year?
I have no idea. I didn't speak on that. I didn't get involved with any of that.
Do you feel like, Amari admittedly wasn't having his best season? He struggled, especially in the first 2 games, said he wasn't really practicing as hard or as well as he should have. After some of that trade stuff or whatever, do you feel like he was 100% giving his all to this football team during the week and on game day?
Oh, for sure. I mean, Cooper's not going to step on the field if he's not going to give 110%, and he came in every day. He worked hard. He never complained. He was around his teammates. He was joking and laughing when we had some free time. He was hanging out with guys, hanging out with all of us. He would go out there. He would teach the younger guys what they need to be taught. So there was never no bad energy or bad vibes when Amari was in this building. So like I mentioned before, he was a big part of this locker room, big part of this leadership that we had on this team. He was a big part of this organization these last couple of years. And he's going to be a great addition for Buffalo. And like I said, we're going to miss him, and I wish we could have, stuck it out the rest of the year. And, we never know what could have happened, but, it's all going to be good for sure.
Did anything from that last game give you encouragement that the offense is starting to turn around?
I mean, every week we have encouragement, we have flashes and things like that. It just comes down to, the self-inflicted things that we keep speaking on each and every week. So we got to continue to just, whatever we're going to do, find ways to not, shoot ourselves in the foot when we get down and when we get a chance to score points, and especially at the end of the games. I think the last 3-4 games have came down to that drive, and, we just haven't finished those drives, and we came so close.
And then just to follow, what can you as a quarterback do to tell your offensive lineman don't false start, other than say don't false start?
I don't know. I think you just answered that. I think you just answered that question for me. I don't know.
Throwing it vertically more need to be part of the improvement. You guys can get it down the field more.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta. That's the tricky part. Is just teams. They try to show a lot of shell. I think last week was the first time where we seen a little bit less posts. Post high shell. They got it one high, but I mean, yeah, that's something that we haven't done this year, and we need to do a little bit more for sure. But that comes with time and repetition and actually doing it, like you mentioned. So. We'll see how the game plan kind of folds out, and if teams want to come up and play us in a lot more men like we've been seeing, then we're going to have to do that.
Have you seen enough out of guys like Jerry and Elijah and Cedric to think you guys can fill that void, and how do you get them, I guess, to take that next step?
Most definitely. I think I've seen that. I know that each one of those guys and the rest of those guys are capable of making big plays for this organization and for this team. And the biggest thing is just really be able to build that confidence, build that relationship that I had, with Coop and some of the other guys that we had here before, and just keep telling them, hey, play fast, play smart, know what to do, and then, whenever the opportunity comes, just be ready for that ball. And, once we can do that, then I think, anything can happen and anything can be special.
Seems like you guys, or the offense in general, didn't necessarily adapt quickly enough to the whole new spread, the RPO schemes, and all the different new things that you guys were trying to do. Would it be helpful to you and everyone else if you guys can dial some of that back and just really focus on the things that have worked for you in the past, even here?
No, I don't think we should shy away from anything that we've been doing. I think that we need to master the things that we are doing, that we are great at. And, for us to be able to do that, we have to all be locked in on the plan. And not just the players, but the coaches also. And I think we get on that same page. And we've been building towards that each and every week. And I think that, we have those opportunities and we have those flashes. Just might be a little bit, slip up here and there. And, each and every week we always have one or two plays that could have went our way and we'll be having a different conversation. But, we are where we are, for whatever reasons. And have to, sit back and watch the tape and find out those things that, okay, what are we having success with? How can we continue to do these things and be positive and do it effectively with different guys in different positions. So, I don't think we should try to, go back to what we've been doing previously. It's a new offense, it's a new year, so we have to just lock in on what the plan is now.
Like Elijah Moore, is he somebody that you feel there's so much more that he has to offer? Are you looking forward to maybe really getting him a lot more involved? Yeah,
it's a great chance for him to have that opportunity. Get more targets, have opportunities to be able to, step up one-on-one matchups, and show what he is. And I believe in what I've seen, he's capable of doing. And we're super excited for that. And I think he's super excited for the opportunity also.
People underestimate how good this wide receiving corps can be moving forward, even without Amari.
I mean, yeah, they're going to do that because we haven't been able to show those results like we wanted to. So, we've got to go out there and prove it. At the end of the day, we can't just look on paper or we can't just talk about it. We got to go out there and show what we can. And this is a great opportunity because it's the next opportunity for us to be able to show that. And I think those young guys and the guys that haven't been able to play a lot, that's going to get those opportunities. I think they're super excited and motivated to be able to show that.
So this being the first division game of the year, are the coaches preaching like this is the restart of our season right here?
Not so much the restart, but it's a new start. It's another opportunity. Each and every week is year 0-0. You're just trying to be 1-0 by the end of Sunday. And if we can do that, then we just got to take it from there. We understand that it's a divisional game. We understand that it's a good Bengals team that is coming in here they just got a victory on the road, playing real good football. But at the same time, we got to focus on us mastering what we can do great, and then knowing our opponent so we can go out there and execute against them.
A friend of yours, Mike Williams, might be available now that the Jets traded for Devontae Adams. Is he somebody that you would maybe like to bring on board and see if he can't help you guys?
Again, that's AB, Kevin, and those guys up front. But if it happened, of course, I love Mike. That's my dog, that's my boy. And he's definitely a great addition, but again, that's more for AB and Kevin.
Good. Yesterday that the league's still reviewing your case from the latest lawsuit. Have you met with the league?
I have not. I have not. Thank you.
You're up.
All right, there you go, Deshaun Watson from the podium there. The Cooper stuff, you heard it from Deshaun, and obviously we'll play the Kevin stuff a little bit later. But, yeah, there's a lot of very good questions there in terms of how can you be better when you took off somebody of his talent? And
it's a fair question.
And I think that's a fair question. And that's something Deshaun's answer was, like, a question, confidence in everybody there. You're at the point now where you just need to see some results on Sundays offensively, and we're long past that. You're 6 games into this thing.
You're exactly right. That's what it's all about. This team's ability to break through some of these glass ceilings. No 300 yards, no 200 yards passing, no 20 points in a game. You're going to have to break through that, and that's it. That's the only way to quiet any of this stuff.
I was just thinking of the receiver room now without Coop. So Judy obviously got off to a nice start to the year, and certainly you like that. But do you think about Tillman, Moore?
Tillman's got 3 catches for 9 yards. Elijah Moore has 16 catches for 95 yards, which is 5.9 yards a catch. That's a career low for him by a wide margin.
So that's a total of 19 catches for what was the total yardage there? I went to state school, but it seemed like it was
104.
104 yards, 19 catches for 104.
Yep. And then Darden's got 1 catch for 6 yards this year. Jamari Thrash has been inactive. Chiefs got 10 for 89 in 2 games. Aikens 12 for 98 and a touchdown in 6 games. People are going to get opportunities. I think we'll see Jamari Thrash for the first time, who looked pretty good in the preseason. We'll see what he can do. But this is going to be about Jerry Jeudy, Elijah Moore getting them out wide. Jalen Darden, who's got speed, he'll probably get some more opportunities. And Cedric Tillman needs to step up. We've had
you gave up a second
receivers.
for Elijah Moore, and you drafted Tillman in the 3rd round.
You have a second for Elijah Moore and the 3rd round pick that became Cedric Tillman.
That's right. So that's where this needs to come from.
Yep.
That's it. I mean, that's where the production that Amari Cooper would have given is going to need to come from. So that's where you are on that side of things. A couple of pre-practice injury report things. Jerome Ford with a hammy, Ronnie Hickman with the ankle, Ethan Posick with the knee will not practice today. Juan Thornhill, a bit of good news here, designated for return to practice. Thornhill appeared in the season opener, recorded 9 tackles, placed on injured reserve with a calf injury on September 11th. Player designated to return for 21 days must be activated or must remain on the reserve list for the remainder of the season. So that doesn't necessarily mean he'll play this week, but he's got 3 weeks. It's just like the Nick timetable, right? Finally heard something on him.
No, we hadn't heard anything.
Nothing.
So, I don't know that you can necessarily expect him back right away, but that's what we'll see. We'll see. But good. It's better that he's coming back than not.
Lots to get to around the league, including future Super Bowl sites and the ownership play with the Las Vegas Raiders. That is coming up next. We're off and running. Before I do that, though, I should tell you, those are your Hot Topics today. Hot Topics today presented by University Hospitals, official healthcare partner of your Cleveland Browns. Around the league coming up next, Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Your game day this season with the Ballybet Sportsbook app. Place your first bet of $50 or more. Get $150 back in bonus bets. Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. As we go around the league, presented by Leaf Filter. Leaf Filter, the official gutter guard of your Cleveland Browns. Tom Brady approved as minority owner of the Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders owner Mark Davis on his upcoming minority owner. Although Brady can't play quarterback for them, he can help them select a QB of the future. Oh, is the answer to that. Let me ask you something.
Not much of a vote of confidence for Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell. I'll tell you what.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Why would the NFL greenlight this?
I don't know.
Why would the folks at Fox be okay with this?
Also don't know. It seems kind of like you have to me, it would feel like almost you got to pick one of the two. Do you want to be a broadcaster or do you want to be a part owner? It's kind of wild is what it is.
So just so our audience understands, Tom Brady, as part of this agreement, cannot, as the lead analyst in Fox, go into an NFL team facility.
Yep.
He cannot do a pre-game conference call with a coach or player of another team.
Nope.
What are the other things he can't do? Those are the two biggest.
The biggest, yeah. That's
which
big.
Honestly I think, quite honestly, could make him a better broadcaster with just one possible glaring exception. What's going to happen when he calls the game of a team that is in the Raiders division, let alone a Raiders game at some point? I just don't think this makes any damn sense at all.
Because it doesn't. That's because it doesn't.
And I don't know why the league said, yeah, go ahead. I don't know why Fox said go ahead.
Me neither. It's honestly, it's kind of stupefying, really. It's one of the stranger, it's very strange. It's without precedent.
I get why he would do it.
Like, how
he's having his cake and eating it too.
How could he? Let's say that. So is Fox? Is he never going to do a Raiders game? Like,
it's not only just a Raiders game. How could he do a game almost of any NFL team if he's, as the kids would say, glazing some wide receiver for another team, and that audio gets back to that player about him being a prospective free agent to come to the Raiders?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
Right.
It's insane.
It's insane. And he's still, to do his job as a broadcaster, he's charming. People are going to tell him things like that are it's wild.
I do think he could be potentially completely unfettered as a broadcaster now because he doesn't have to go into a building and look eye to eye with a owner or a coach or a player.
Sure.
He could be completely cut off from that if he wasn't also in ownership. That's the part of it. Like, how could everything he say not be under a microscope now in terms of possible recruitment?
It
or
has
taking
to be.
shots at opponents.
It has
that,
to be.
That you could be. Let's say 5 years from now, the Raiders and the Chiefs are both in the market for a free agent wide receiver.
Yep.
And let's say it's Jeremiah Smith, the freshman at Ohio State, and his contract is up, whatever, and he doesn't want to play where he drafted anymore, and he's trying to leverage it and the franchise and all of that. And he goes into free agency, and you're talking smack about other teams about the league while glowingly talking about him trying. I just think it's nonsense.
Because it is nonsense.
I can't believe it. I truly cannot believe that it was allowed.
It sets you up for so much, right? Listen, if I'm the Raiders, I think it's a massive advantage for the Raiders.
Huge. Richard Seymour coming in as well for them. He's part of that. He's going to be part of the new ownership. So it's a model that Stephen Ross used in Miami, where you get celebrity ownership to come and create buzz. I don't think you need to do that with the Raiders. I think they have enough buzz.
Plenty of buzz.
As it is. They're an iconic franchise. I think Miami's a little bit different.
Yep.
But I'm shocked that Fox is letting it happen, and I'm shocked that the NFL let it happen. I think it's pick one, Tom. Can't have it all.
He does. He is going to have it all.
Yeah. Absolutely wild. On the day that the Buffalo Bills acquired Amari Cooper, the Bills released wide receiver Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Jets?
He's got some speed. What, Valdez-Scantling?
Reunite him? All Lord Packers.
I could see him go back to Kansas City.
Yeah.
Where he was most recently and actually made some huge catch. They don't win the Super Bowl without him. He made some huge catches down the stretch. Huge catches.
I wonder if Kansas City will have a reaction to what the Bills and the Jets did yesterday.
I mean, Marquez Valdez-Scantling doesn't count there, but
not like that. But I mean,
who are the other people that were so obvious to be moved?
I didn't think Amari was obvious to be moved, and then you and I are doing a show at UH yesterday, and he was moved.
I thought if things continued the way they were going, that it would be, that is something that you could see.
But that was 3 weeks from now.
Yes.
So who knows what could happen between now? Like T. Higgins?
Right.
What if we beat the Bengals this weekend? Tall task.
Tall task.
But what if you do?
Great.
And they're 2-5. And T. Higgins...
I mean, the best you could get for him as a compensatory pick would be a third rounder. So if you're going to trade him, that's got to be the minimum starting point.
The minimum starting point. But if you paratrooped him in to Kansas City...
I don't see that.
I don't see that either, for myriad reasons.
Yes.
But you just don't know. I think one thing that's happened the last couple of years in the league is teams are far more willing to trade now than they were 5 years ago.
Yep.
I mean, you wouldn't have seen these deals 5 years ago.
No.
Like the Adams deal and the deal we just did with Amari. Like you didn't see those deals.
First of all, both of them are in conference.
Right. Ours is really puzzling just because it feels
Ours
like...
is puzzling because of the timing.
The timing of it, right. Like, you just are curious, like, if you... Are you sure wouldn't Kansas City love to have Amari Cooper?
I'm sure they would. I'm sure they would.
I mean, they're down so many playmakers. I know they're undefeated, but, like, geez.
Yeah.
I don't know. Curious to see if there's more of it.
Yeah.
Couple of notes from the fall league meetings. The Super Bowl city schedule is out. 2025 is in New Orleans. 2026 is in Santa Clara. 2027 is in SoFi. 2028 is in Atlanta. It appears that the NFL is going the way of the Open Championship, and they're just going to rotate through 4 to 6 places. Tampa Bay will paratroop in here every once in a while. You'll probably get Houston, I suppose, every once in a while. But Miami, obviously, will be consistently in the rotation. But they love New Orleans. They love Santa Clara. They love SoFi. They love Atlanta. And that's the way that it goes.
No Arizona?
Yeah, I would think the iconic ones are New Orleans, Miami. New Orleans and Miami are the two.
Arizona.
And then Arizona would
LA.
be close. Yeah. When you think of historic Super Bowls, LA used to be at the Rose Bowl years ago.
Yeah.
Now they have SoFi.
But Arizona,
New Orleans and Miami are the two that have hosted the most. Arizona, of course, it's new to the parade because you weren't hosting too many at Tempe, but now that they have the Dome, you can do it there. Yeah, and then everybody else in the South kind of gets their call. It seems like Atlanta's going to be a pretty regular rotation.
Yeah, Atlanta's being
with that stadium. Atlanta's got their hands full. They got a lot of college football national championship games over the next 4 to 5 years as well. So you build a stadium and they will come. Speaking of build a stadium and they'll come, I saw Hamilton County down in the Cincinnati area is exploring adding a dome on that stadium.
Onto Paul Brown Stadium?
That's right. Yeah. Just saw it this morning.
So that would be very expensive. That's, in many ways, when you talk about putting a dome on our stadium and you think of the costs associated with doing so.
About $1 billion. Wasn't that kind of the number that was always floated?
Yeah, but like our state, that's bad bones, bro.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. I mean, it's just cement.
It's horrible.
It's just cement. It's all it is. It's bad. Yeah. I think they're trying to I mean, one of the things that is going to be interesting down there is they don't have their money to do it their own.
Yep.
The stadium's owned by Hamilton County. It's not owned by by Mike Brown and the Paul Brown family.
Yep.
So that it's complicated in that sense. You know for sure that Kentucky would love to have them in that state, just right across the river.
Yep.
So there are some possible locations there. I think maybe this is Hamilton County trying to say, hey, look, we're willing to work with you on this. Let's see what we can do to keep it where it is.
Yeah.
But that would seem like a lot of money to throw into that stadium to me.
Yes.
The NFL is pleased, it is said, with the early results of the new kickoff rule. Adjustments could still be made next year. If you could make one adjustment to the new kickoff rule, what would you make?
If the goal is to create more returns, then I would say any ball that's a touchback comes out to the 40. If you want them to have
very
returns,
punitive.
It's like, okay, you're going to kick it in here.
I think you could do that. The other thing you do is just move where they kick off back from so that they can't reach the end zone so easily.
That would be the other thing. And then guys can actually hit it and
yeah. And then they could boom it and it wouldn't reach. I don't know what that would be. I wonder, you'd have to ask D-Hop, like what would be how far would he have to move it back to where he couldn't kick it into the end zone?
I bet the 10. I bet even from so what are they at right now? The 30?
Yeah.
And you'll get people who get it out of the back of the end zone on a fly, but that's 10 yards. If you're at the 10, I bet they can actually swing at it and it'll make it come down where you want it.
Well within.
Because it really doesn't matter about the height anymore.
I just think
it's all the landing spot.
It's all the landing spot. It's amazing how many folks out there with this are just content to just kick it into the end zone and just take it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So if the
make
goal
it more
is,
punitive.
then you got to make it more punitive, right? If you want every kick to be returned, then you have to make it. You have to get it to 40. So a team needs to get now with our kickers today. A team needs to get 20 yards to have a field goal.
Yeah. NFL EVP Troy Vincent said there have been 22 questionable tackles that could have been called hip drop tackles, but none of them met the 4-point criteria. I'm over it. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm over it. I'm over it with hip drop. I'm over it with landing on a quarterback and it's a 15-yard penalty. Like,
if you have Aaron Rodgers,
too damn
ridiculous.
hard to administer. It is way too subjective. It is not. None of this tackling stuff is black or white. It's all up for interpretation, and it's nonsense. This is it's a violent sport. It is a collision sport. It is a fast twitch sport. The idea that you can, look at the Epineza play on Monday. The idea that, what do you want him to do? He tackled him, he wrapped him, and he drove him to the ground. Do you want him to tackle him, wrap him, and let him go? Is he supposed to gently pull him to the ground?
It's absurd.
Is it like me tackling Bootsy, where I have to lift him up and place him on the ground? Is that
No.
the hope?
It's completely absurd. And furthermore, when you have Aaron Rodgers in the middle of the game go, that's a tough call after he got sacked.
Yeah.
You know it's not okay.
No.
Like, he's saying it's a tough call. They say, dude, rough, you sacked me. Clean as can be. They said he made a second move. What about in that same game, the blocking unnecessary roughness? The lineman puts a guy on the ground and then falls on him. That's classic. Hoff is apoplectic about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough.
It's very tough.
You can't litigate this sport safe.
No.
You've done all you can.
And you
have a lot of safeguards in place. You've done incredible things with the technology in the helmet. You've done incredible things in terms of reteaching people how to tackle. I don't know if people realize this, but you coach tackle football at a young age now. The way that I was taught to tackle when I played is entirely different than the way that we teach them now. When we were taught, if you're a man, you're 40, you're 30s,
Yep.
whatever. When you were taught to tackle the ball, see ball, hit ball. That was it. You put your face mask where the ball was. That was the job. Now we teach them to tackle their head opposite. So if the ball is in the carrier's right hand, their head should be behind the back hip of the ball carrier. You're tackling opposite the ball. You're teaching them to tackle opposite ball to limit the amount of collision with the head. So you're doing a lot to protect. I think it's gotten a little silly.
The Epineza one is so bad. And what's he supposed to do?
I don't know. And how many times is that happening on a given Sunday in the league, but you don't see it because it's not Monday Night Football?
Multiple. They're bad. Roughing the passer is bad. There's got to, unless it is clear and obvious roughing the passer, even Greg Newsome's, which I think in many ways has changed the course of our season. I think without Greg Newsome's roughing the passer, I think Amari Cooper's still a Brown. I think that we win that game. And I think we go on and we beat the rate. I think so much changed on that one play. And yes, by the letter of the law, did his hand contact the helmet of Daniel Jones? It did. Was it a forcible blow? Was there any harm or potential harm caused to Daniel Jones? No. So let's just be reasonable about these things.
Used to say this thing about a catch. I don't know what the rule for what a catch is or what it isn't, but I know what it is when I see it. And I think that's what a lot of this stuff ought to be. You should be able to say in the case of the Greg Newsome one and the case of what happened with Epineza on Monday, that is clearly not roughing.
No.
It's clearly not roughing.
No. Roughing the passer feels like something that is out of bounds of a legal play.
Yeah. Ball is released.
And then you take
Aaron Rodgers he sacked him. It's not like he threw it. Well, he's standing there and he took his legs out from under him.
And he went
if you did not see the play, he sacked Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers crumbled like this. He sacked him and he landed on him. Because it was a 15-yard roughing.
Aaron Rodgers crumbled.
He
had to
60
land on him.
miles an hour around the end, and he tackles him with his momentum, and somehow he's supposed to not land on him?
No, it's ridiculous.
These rules are made by people who have never played, I'm certain.
Yeah.
There's just no way that a human body can behave in that manner, coming at the rate that Epineza was coming.
And if the person that you're tackling crumbles the ground, that is like almost pulling you down on top of them.
Yeah.
And Rodgers even there should be no, that was not roughing. There are times when it's roughing.
Yeah. Fine, call it.
Call it.
That ain't it.
No. a good tackle. Like Dalvin Tomlinson got fined, I think $20,000 for his sack in week 1 on Dak Prescott, and they said it should have been called roughing.
Yeah.
He sacked him, and Dak Prescott turned around and spun right into him, and so of course he tackles him, and where's he going to fall?
Where do you want me to fall, man?
It's nuts.
The league is also cracking down on finger gun celebrations.
That I'm fine with.
8 penalties and fines in the first 4 weeks combined, 2 more in week 5. Goodell, it's a longstanding policy. We're going to go enforce that. We don't think it's appropriate in those circumstances, and it sends the wrong message. Yeah, I'm cool with it too. I just think at the same time, like, this is for kids, obviously.
Yep.
Now that I have, 3 of my own and one that's a 7th grader, if you don't have them or if your kids are older and they're grown, these kids have just seen so much more than you've ever could have wrapped your head around. Yep. They are exposed to so much more than we were when we were kids, or if you have kids who are in college now or kids who are in their 20s and 30s, or even if you have a really young one, like, you'll see that you can't shield them from it. It's impossible.
It's impossible.
It's all out there. It's all at the click of a finger, and you just have to raise them right and hope that they respond to it in a positive light and hope that they're mentally prepared, or if they're not, that they can come to you and talk to you. So I like this from Goodell, but I also think it's very difficult to try to shield from all of those types of things. All right, coming up next, oh boy, the Microsoft Minute is coming up.
That's right.
Next. It's very, very exciting. Z's final thoughts from the Eagles game. See if we can find something good in an otherwise distasteful loss in Philly. That's coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, sports betting partner, your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. When a medical mistake causes you an injury, call the medical malpractice attorneys at 1-800-ELK Ohio. Elk & Elk's a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Time for the Microsoft Minute, powered by Microsoft Surface. Powering a better game, here is Dr. Z on his final thoughts of the loss in Philly.
Yeah, just trying to look for a few things that you'd categorize as positive in this. And I'll start with kind of the first full game of Jed Wills and Jack Conklin together. I thought they did pretty good. The two tackles did not allow a sack. I thought Jack Conklin was good in the run game, and you saw that. So I thought that was, in terms of things that could be looked at as a positive, I thought that was pretty positive. Another one would be Pierre Strong's performance, 8 carries, 43 yards, 2 catches, 35. That's 78 total yards, is the most he's ever had as a member of the Cleveland Browns in a single game. And you can see he was a good zone runner, had good patience, and his acceleration. He's one of the guys I've wanted to see more of.
You've always been a fan of him.
I have.
Very first time. You like how he hits a hole.
I do, and he did very well. Now, who knows? Jerome Ford's got the hammy, but, with Nick Chubb coming back, you'd imagine that I think they can make actually a pretty nice 1-2 tandem. You wonder about where this leaves Deontay Foreman, especially if Naheem Hines is coming back. There's no way we're carrying 5 running backs, so You wonder how that's going to end up shaking out there. And then, the third kind of thing on offense is it's nothing that we don't know, but it just sticks out how you're able to make some good plays. And in some cases, you overcome that 15-yard face mask on Amari and still get down to the 3-yard line and then penalty. It's the self-inflicted wounds still are huge. What I'm excited for, though, coming out of this game and following the trade of Amari Cooper is, like Jerry Jeudy, I commented in the break, like he didn't have a target until the second half. That's not how this is. That's not how this should be working. Jerry Jeudy should be getting targeted early and often. Elijah Moore, if he's going to play receiver. I go back to the Jets game on Thursday night, and I know it's a different quarterback, but he filled in for Amari Cooper, who was a late scratch in that role, and had 60 yards and a touchdown in the first half before getting hurt against Sauce Gardner and Reed, who at the time no receivers were doing what and no quarterback had done what Joe Flacco did. That's I'm hopeful for Elijah Moore. Get him out wide and let him play real wide receiver, and let's see ultimately what happens there. But those are some of the things on offense. And then defensively in that game last week, I thought Mahmoud Diabate brought a real nice presence, a physical presence. He had 7 tackles, but you could kind of feel him on the field, which was great to see. Mike Hall had a tackle for a loss. He had a pressure in his NFL debut in 20 snaps, so you could see kind of what they were hoping for there out of him. And then you got to give Rodney McLeod. I mean, he was everywhere, right? Pass defense, 8 tackles, field goal block return for a touchdown, second TD. The only player on the Browns now with 2 touchdowns with the trade of Amari Cooper. Denzel continues to just get his hands on the football. 10 passes defense, that's tied for the first in the NFL, tied for most there. So those are kind of the things that stuck out to me defensively. JOK continues to be sensational. Sack, tackle for a loss. He's got 2 sacks. He's third on the team in sacks. He leads the team with 7 tackles for a loss. He's got an interception. By the way, leads the team in that as well.
Yep.
He's got a tackle for a loss in 5 straight. He's on pace to have over 100 tackles again and get darn near 20 tackles for a loss again. So he's been
sensational.
Sensational.
Yeah.
And then special teams. Bubba Ventrone's unit is at the Pro Football Focus grades, the number 2 special teams unit in the National Football League. I mean, they've made big plays. D-Hop has been, for the most part, very, very good. Bojorquez, I think, has been great. We still need a little more juice out of that return game, and hopefully Naheem Hines can help that. But other than that, you've been pretty good there.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's the thing that's interesting about the Philly game for me, and I said this on Monday, is that was actually more of what I anticipated that result being, in that Philly's coming off a bye. They win those games. They were getting healthy. The problem with it is it's the previous 2 games that made that one so important, and then when you lose it, it is magnified even more so, because it's the loss at home to the Giants, it's the loss at the Raiders that put you in this position of it had to be a must-win to win in Philly. That's a tough place to play, obviously. It was a desperate team, clearly, and they were healthy, and they were coming off a bye. And so that was always going to be a tough one for me. When you're playing the schedule game, you weren't looking at Philly and going, oh, yeah, there's a win. Nobody was. You're saying that's going to be tough.
That was going to be a tough
Very
one.
tough
Yes.
one. So it's because of what happened before that makes it sting quite a bit more, just because you didn't do what you were supposed to do in the previous 2 games. I'm glad you brought up JOK, because he has been unbelievable.
Oh, yeah, he's been
this year. I heard Zach Taylor talking about him this morning down in Cincinnati. He mentioned JOK by name, just how phenomenal he's been playing. So everybody in the league knows it. He's been lights out and has lifted his game despite the results not being there from a team perspective. And that was your Microsoft Minute, powered by Microsoft Surface, powering a better game. Howard Hanna, the official real estate provider of your Cleveland Browns, exclusive buyer agent, is there to help you navigate the field, save time and money, and score that winning touchdown. A new home. Win big, with the leader in real estate. Visit howardhanna.com/go Browns today for more. Second hour of the program coming up next, including Coach Stefanski from the podium. And listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Browns fans enter Huntington Bank Field quicker on game day with Express Access presented by Verizon. Also new this year, select concession stands will offer Express Access presented by Bud Light. Enroll for free. Go to the Tickets tab in the Browns mobile app to learn more. Now from the podium we head, presented by Vivid Seats. Purchase your official fan experience packages today for the ultimate game day. Your head coach, Kevin Stefanski.
Okay, excited.
You're down about 3 minutes.
Game at our place. Got to work really hard this week to be on top of it so we can go play fast and free on Sunday. But with that, I'll take any questions.
Kevin, obviously you knew the Cooper trade was coming before we did. Disappointed, or how do you characterize?
I think disappointed when you lose any player for injury or otherwise, trade, whatever it is. So, I wish Amari luck. Obviously, talked to him yesterday. We're excited. It opens up opportunities for other guys. But, you obviously become close to your players, and you don't like to lose anybody for any reason. But we understand the business part of that, and we're excited what the opportunities will be for some other guys.
For lack of a better phrase, sell that within the locker room because of the quality of player Amari is, the professional he is off the field. So, how do you sell to your team? We're still trying to win. We're still trying to compete when you trade a player.
I think our guys get that the number one thing here is to win. The number one thing is to compete. The truth is you do lose guys throughout the course of a season. Sometimes it's due to injury. Sometimes it's due to trade, whatever it may be. And our guys have to step up when that time comes.
The guy who's going to step up?
Well, I think it's a good question, Tony, but I think it's a bunch of guys. I think, as you know, Amari's volume of targets was a lot. Well, those have to go to other people. So other people in the wide receiver room, the tight end room, the running back room. We do have a lot of confidence in our guys.
I had Nick Chubb on kind of a pitch count in the past, even when he's healthy. Do you have to keep that in mind this week?
We'll work through that this week, Zach. I don't have a specific number right this minute, but want to see Nick practice this week and then huddle up with Nick, with the coaches, that type of thing.
Your guys adapted or adopted the spread game, the RPO game, and all the new things that you guys were trying to implement this year.
Yeah, I think, again, with where we are, Mary Kay, there's not enough that I could say we're doing well. We need to continue to work at it, whether it's run game, pass game, you name it. There are some things that I believe that our guys are comfortable with that we're doing at a decent clip. We just have to eliminate those bad football plays, eliminate some of those negative football plays.
Was still on a little bit of a pitch count last week?
One more time.
Is David still on a little bit of a pitch count?
Yes. He's 1 week better. I think with those injuries, you continue to get better as you get farther away from the initial injury.
Is there any change in the play calling, how the structure, who's going to do it?
No specific changes other than we're going to continue to look at everything we do and try to do it better.
Did you read the Nick Chubb thing?
I did. He's a better journalist than all you guys combined. And a better football player, Scott.
Has he ever opened up about any of this stuff?
Yeah, he has. Yeah. I know all about his grandmother. I'm a fan of, I'll save her name. I'll let Nick share her name, but I'm a big fan.
Hill designated for return to practice today. What are you expecting from him when he's back at practice?
Yeah, he'll practice today. Coming off of any injury, Cam, I think we got to always look at our guys, see what they look like, and then make determinations throughout the week. But excited that he's back out there.
All right, there you go. From the podium, presented by Vivid Seats. Purchase your official fan experience package today for the ultimate game day. Time to meet the Cincinnati Bengals. They are 2-4 on the season. They are third in the AFC North as it stands. Zach Taylor is their head coach. He is 39-48-1. It is his sixth season in Cincinnati. The Bengals lead the all-time series between the two teams, 53-48. Last time out, Cincinnati beat us down there in January, 31-14.
That was week 18. That was like Jeff Driscoll started at quarterback for the Cleveland Browns.
It was still 31-14, though, right?
It was.
Yeah. Good context. Last week,
it just wasn't. That was Jake Browning against Jeff Driscoll.
It was. Last time out, Cincinnati won at the Giants 17-7. League rankings, their offense ranked 12th overall, 26th in rushing, 7th in passing. Burrow leads the NFL in passing quarterback rating. Defense is 23rd overall, 28th in rushing, 14th in passing. The turnover differential is even. Dr. Z for more.
It's a very good offense, explosive offense. You've got Burrow right now leading the league. You mentioned 110 rating. His career completion percentage is now 68.3 because he's having a career high 71.6 this season. That's the highest career completion percentage in the history of the National Football League. He's playing very, very well. Last week had a career high 55 yards rushing and a touchdown on a career long run of 47 yards against the Giants.
I think he took off and didn't think he was going to score. And I think everybody else thought someone else was going to tackle him.
And then nobody even
and
came
just
into
kept
the
running,
screen.
and he just kind of ran.
He just walked right in.
Yeah, it was wild.
It was pretty easy. Burrow, obviously, incredibly good for his career. 109 touchdowns, 39 picks, 99.7 rating, 68.3% completions. Against the Browns, though, he has not been as good. Just 1-5, including 0-3 here in Cleveland. 63.5% completions, 1,557 yards passing, 10 touchdowns, 5 picks, and 86 rating. He's taken 20 sacks in those 6 games as well, and he's produced 8 turnovers, 5 interceptions, 3 fumbles lost in 6 games. That's how the Browns have been able to beat Joe Burrow. But when they throw it, they've got Jamar Chase, the 3-time Pro Bowler, 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons. Right now, 34 catches, 565 yards.
Who went next level today? It's time for the next.
565 yards and 5 touchdowns, averaging 16.6
We can do that.
yards.
I don't think it is net. I don't think it is yet.
We can. It can be.
I don't know where
I'm gassed.
that came from, guys, but you guys are taking this Bengals breakdown to the next level. That's for sure.
There we go. T. Higgins, he's got 2 1,000-yard seasons in his career. He's only played 4 games, missed the start of the season, 20 for 259 and 2 touchdowns. Coming on really strong the last 2 weeks, though. Amazing in his time against Cleveland, 2 touchdowns, no games with 100 yards. Jamar Chase against Cleveland only has 1 100-yard game. In fact, in 5 games against Cleveland, he's averaging just 50 yards per game and has 1 total touchdown.
I feel like Denzel plays lights out against them.
And he's been under 40 yards receiving in both games here in Cleveland. Last year, T. Higgins in week 1, 8 targets, 0 catches in that game, which was the lowest rated game of Joe Burrow's career. They play a lot of different tight ends at you. The biggest pass-catching threat's probably Mike Gesicki, former second-rounder of the Dolphins, who's got 17 catches for 178 yards and a touchdown. It is a 2-headed running back by committee, Zach Moss and Chase Brown. Chase Brown is clearly the better back. He's averaging 5.5 yards a carry. Zach Moss is averaging 3.6. Chase Brown's got 4 total touchdowns. I think he scored in 3 straight weeks, and he fumbled last week but did not lose it. Moss lost a fumble, so bench him. Who needs him? Chase Brown, 20 carries. I would like to see that. How about you? Yep, good.
Love to.
We would love to. So that's who they are. Good, big, veteran offensive line. Orlando Brown, the 4-time Pro Bowler, anchors them at left tackle. They've got Cordell Volson, Ted Karras, a 2-time Super Bowl winner with New England, Alex Kappa, who won a Super Bowl with Tampa, and Tom Brady. So 2 guys who won Super Bowls with Tom Brady. And then their right tackle is their first-round pick this year, Amarius Mims, who's been the starter since Trent Brown went down with injury. Defensively, Trey Hendrickson is there. Myles Garrett, the 3-time Pro Bowler, got 3 seasons of more than 13 sacks in the last 4. He had a career-high 17 sacks last year in 2023, leads the team with 5 sacks this year. The other side's the former Ohio State Buckeye Sam Hubbard, who's got 5.5 sacks in 9 games against Cleveland this season, just 1 sack so far. They've had some injuries at the defensive tackle position, but they got some big bodies in there. B.J. Hill has played very well for them, and then Sheldon Rankins has come in recently, the former first-rounder of the Saints. They've got a lot of young guys. Chris Jenkins, Jr., son of Chris Jenkins, second-rounder out of Michigan. He's playing a little bit as well. 2 good linebackers. I like both of them. Logan Wilson, 3 straight 100-tackle seasons. He's got 2 seasons with 4 or more interceptions. He's already got a team-high 61 tackles this year. And then Jermaine Pratt was a guy who low those many years ago. We had tried to will to the Cleveland Browns.
We did.
And he's playing very well. Last year, a career-high 118 tackles. This year already 58 tackles, an interception, 2 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries. So he's playing very, very well. The back end, they've got young corners, Cam Taylor-Britt, their second rounder in 22, and DJ Turner, the second rounder in 23. Taylor-Britt's got a pick and 7 passes defensed. DJ Turner just 3 passes defensed. Geno Stone, who led the NFL with 7 picks last year, not a pick yet. He's got a pass defense. They got Von Bell, and they got Mike Hilton, who is one of the best nickel blitzers in the league. So veteran safeties, Von Bell and Geno Stone. Dax Hill, their first-round pick from a couple of years ago, was supposed to be their 3rd corner. He has been hurt, and obviously he is out for the year now. And so it's Turner and Cam Taylor-Britt, and then Mike Hilton in the slot.
It is a defense that up until last week teams are having their way with.
Oh, yeah, it's not a good defense at all to that point. Only 8 sacks. That's 30th in the league. They're giving up 25.3 points. That's 26th in the league. Against the run, 146 yards and 7 touchdowns already. 28th in the league. Total yards, they're 23rd, 356 yards, 5.3 a play. They are 26th on third downs, 45%. They are 28th on fourth down, 71%. 24th in the red zone, 65%, and 21% near the goal line, 80%. And they're allowing the third most first downs per game at 23. Fourth most first downs per game at 23, which, again, the schedule stays easy for the Browns on offense, but the Browns, as we know, 32nd most sacks, 28th rushing offense, 30th passing offense, 32nd last total offense, 30th in points per game, 32nd in first downs per game, 32nd on third down. It's a defense that I think you certainly can get to. And this is an offense that we have historically played very well against, and we will be as tested can be. Burrow has not had a 300-yard game against the Browns since his rookie season, 2020, threw for over 300 in both those games, but not since then.
The weather's been pretty inclement here the last 2 days, rainy, mucky, cold, all of those things, and I thought, well, that would behoove us against Cincinnati. The last time Burrow played here, it was garbage weather-wise, and he did not play well in that garbage weather-wise. And then I looked at the forecast for Sunday, and I saw, it's going to be 70 and sunny and gorgeous down at the stadium. So, I don't know. The grounds crew, maybe water that grass, make it mucky.
Maybe it can just
take
rain.
The tarp off, baby.
Maybe it can rain just over the stadium again.
Take the tarp off a game and try to slow them down a little bit. They're lights out offensively. Chase Brown is someone to watch. I know you have him in fantasy, and he runs with a purpose and a decisiveness and gives them a little bit something else. Burrow's been lights out, and I think one of the frustrating things down there for them is that it hasn't manifested in wins. They have a bunch of instances where their record could be inverted. They very easily could be 4-2. There's all sorts of, 2 field goals to win games at the end of games. There's a crazy call in the Kansas City game. So there's a very good case for them to be 4-2, and they feel like they should be that. They're not. They will come in desperate. They will come in hungry. I heard Zach Taylor this morning talking about the record in Cincinnati, and all he said is, we're aware of it. Everybody knows about the record up here in Cleveland when the Bengals come up here. They know a Burrow's record. It eats at Burrow. And so whatever their best is, my hunch is you're going to get it on Sunday down on the lake. We will guess the scores with Dr. Z coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Back for another season of your four-legged companion, year 3 of the Barking Backers, presented by Milkbone, the fan club for dog. View membership options. Join today at barkingbackers.com. Time for a little segment.
Can I interject with a?
You can interject wherever you want. You're the head.
Well,
honcho.
no.
We're just a couple of.
Since this is kind of a league segment.
Okay.
It is the anniversary, October 16th, 2006. Kevin, this famous quote.
4 picks against Grossman and 2 fumbles. What did you see about the Bears that would shut them down that way?
No, we just the Bears are what we thought they were. They're what we thought they were. We played them in preseason. Who the hell takes a third game in a preseason like it's bull? We played them in the third game. Everybody played 3 quarters. The Bears are who we thought they were. And that's why we took the damn field. Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
Dennis Green.
He was great. That's when he was in Arizona.
Arizona.
Yes.
That was the Bears actually made the Super Bowl that season with Rex Grossman. I'm pretty sure Grossman at quarterback. They lost to the Colts.
Yep.
Devin Hester returned the opening kick for a touchdown, and then the rest was as it should have been, as a Rex Grossman-led team going to the Super Bowl was always going to end negatively. And that was what was crazy is that was a nice stretch for Arizona because they make a Super Bowl against Pittsburgh as well within a year or two of that. So yeah. That was great.
Yep.
That was very, very good. All right, time for a little segment we call Guess the Scores with Dr. Z. 2-game winning streak for you.
Yep.
Here you go. Let's see if you can keep it rolling. We're starting with Thursday night football. It is the Broncos of Denver. It is the Saints of New Orleans, and it's a bit of a dog game. You got the 2 baseball games.
Yeah,
for whatever reason, baseball is playing 4:07. Like our game on tomorrow is 4:07 first pitch. Guardians.
No, 5.
Was it 5 o'clock?
5.
Okay.
Yep.
5 o'clock first pitch on that. And then they're doing Dodgers Mets after that.
In between, the Kevin Stefanski show. Come out and see
got
us
it on
at Slim
DVR.
and Chubby's.
Oh, nice. Good.
On remote tomorrow.
That's good. You can put you guys on
meet
closed
D-Hop.
circuit. Remember the old days they did closed circuit? Put you guys on closed circuit on all the TVs. See how that goes. Denver at Saints. Dr. Z.
This game is not one. I'm not excited for this game.
No, I don't. I'm going to take the
angry
Thursday
is Al
off.
Michael's going to be.
I'm taking it all. I'm not watching it. I don't care about it.
Nope.
I'm not. I'm good. I don't have any fantasy implications. I'm not. I have no interest.
It's in New Orleans.
That's right.
New Orleans minus 2.5.
It is Broncos minus 2.5. Denver.
Oh, so Derek Carr is not playing, I guess.
I guess. We head to Sunday, and we are in jolly old London town. It is New England at Jacksonville. New England at Jacksonville.
Jacksonville minus 2.5.
Jacksonville minus 5.5.
Oh, boy.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
It's not good for the scores.
How are they favored by 5.5?
Over anybody.
Over anybody. They're absolutely torable, as Bootsy would say. He settled on Tigger, by the way, as his Halloween costume. I
like
really
it.
wanted
Yeah,
I
be
wanted
bouncing around.
Smokey and the Bandit a lot, but he settled on Tigger.
Is the car still there?
Car's still there.
Good.
Hasn't moved.
Good.
1 p.m. slate. This is a Fox broadcast of Kenny Albert, Jonathan Vilma, and Megan Oliva. It is Seattle at Atlanta. Seattle at Atlanta.
Atlanta minus 3.
Got it. Good job to you.
There we go.
What are the Seahawks?
Fun, but not that good.
Geno's leading the NFL in passing yardage. 6 touchdowns, 6 picks. Interesting.
Fun, but not that good.
Fun, I think that might be the right way to do it. All right, this is in Buffalo. We go now. Amari Cooper will be suited up for the Buffalo Bills in this one. We presume Tennessee at Buffalo. Go ahead, Gibby.
This number has changed. It's come down a half.
Okay. From what's on the green sheet?
Yes.
All right. Tennessee at Buffalo.
Well, what the heck does that mean?
I don't think it makes much difference. I think you'll either be in the vicinity or you won't. I think you'll be in the vicinity. Tennessee at Buffalo.
I mean, you're overthinking it already. You just need me to razz you a little bit. I'll get you fired up. We'll get you.
I mean, I was going to go. I'm just talking it out.
Just go with it.
I was going to go Buffalo minus 10, but now that it's gone down, now I don't know if it's gone from 9 to 8.5. It can't be 10. All right, I'm just going to go, and this will cover it all. Buffalo minus 9.
Got it. Exactly.
Oh, baby.
Good job out of you.
See, you just
Bengals at Browns. Cincinnati Bengals at Cleveland Browns. Joe Burrow 1-5.
Let's see if I can. The one that I've seen. Let's see if that holds up.
Yep.
Bengals -6.
Bengals -10.5.
What?
I just wanted the facial.
Did it? I was say move 4.5 points. I mean, I saw it like when I printed out the NFL research this morning.
Yeah, it moved a lot. Lots changed.
We traded Amari yesterday.
6.5. 6.5. So you
okay.
got it. You got it.
3 and 2.
All right, we are in Green Bay now. This is your Nance Romo Wolfson game. By the way, we have Spiro Ditas and Adam Archuleta and Aditi Kinkabala on our broadcast. You have that to look forward to, which is nice. This is Nance. This is Romo. This is Wolfson. It is Texans at Packers. Good one. This is a fun one. This will be your second screen hope. I like this one a lot, and I don't know what I would do with it. I'm very curious how you think that the folks would think of this game.
Green Bay -2.
Got it. Green Bay -2.5.
All right.
I have something I want to run by you.
Okay.
I think 2.5 is the new 3.
It feels that way.
That's what I think. In the old days, home 3 always you started there and then you build off of it. I think now it's home 2.5.
I agree with that.
All right.
So I didn't think it was going to be a full 3, but I thought it was more likely that it might be 1.5 than it would be that it would be 3.
Yeah.
So that's why I went 2.
Well, you got it.
I did get it. But you're right. Normally you'd think let's gravitate towards the number, but I've had more success not doing that per se.
Dolphins at Colts. I don't know if this is an Anthony Richardson or if this is a Joe. It's a Richardson?
Richardson is a full participant in practice today.
But what does that even mean?
I don't know because he did that on Friday. And
Man, what a mess.
Flacco started.
I mean, they have Flacco who plays been great for them, but it's still, geez, what do you do? Because you're better off with Flacco winning games. Kugler, Johnston, Oakham on this one.
Where is it?
Indy.
And no Tua still.
No Tua still. So this would be
Indy -2.
Missed it. Indy -3.5.
Never would have got that.
That to me feels like they think Flacco's playing. Because Richardson will throw it to the other team. This is another good one. This is honestly.
How are they still going with? And no, he was a very nice guy, but how are they still going with Snoop Huntley?
I don't know.
After a bye week, they could have brought somebody in.
They could have brought somebody in last week.
Yeah.
And had him up to speed.
Lions
at Vikings. Awesome one in the Twin Cities. 1 o'clock kick.
Really could use one of these at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, because when you look at the 4 o'clock slate, there's one great one. I think probably what happened is they saw the one great one and they say, okay, well, no one's counter-programming that, so let's just stay away from it with the rest of them.
Lions at Vikings. Lions -3.
Vikings -2.5.
What?
Yeah. That one, that's a red flag for the kid.
Didn't see
I
that
see that
one
one. I
coming.
didn't. No, that seems. I don't know what's going on there. Eagles
It makes me fearful for the Lions.
It
For
does.
DLD. By the way, see somebody's trying to send us to DLD.
I appreciate you bringing me along.
Of course.
Thank you. We had such a good time the last time with Stafford. We're palling
Great.
around.
Rock City.
Living our best lives.
Yeah.
All the Grayson gear we could want. Even he's looks like a defeated man, doesn't he? Scarlet. What was he doing? What
That was a
route he
weird
just
path.
did? It's a weird saunter for him. He knows how to saunter. He goes straight lines, and then he goes around.
It's very odd.
We don't see that very often.
No.
Eagles at Giants. Eagles at Giants.
Eagles -2.
Eagles -3.
Well, that's where it hurt me.
Yeah.
First time it hurt me.
4 o'clock window. Raiders at Just Ram It. Kevin Harlan, who I like a lot, on the call here. Trent Green, Melanie Collins as well on CBS.
Rams -3.5.
Rams -7.
Never would even come close to that.
No.
Okay.
This does not bode well for the scores the way that it's gone so far, because the correlation being
so
you
far.
and I view it similarly. We need a rally out of you right here. I would like a explanation why, and maybe there's just nothing else. I guess there really isn't a whole lot else they could go to. But they're putting Ian Eagle, Charles Davis, and Evan Washburn, which to me is like the 1A CBS crew. I know they're the 2, but it feels 1A-ish. They could be a 1 anywhere
They should be on
else.
Houston, Green Bay.
They're doing
that's Nance and
Panthers.
Romo.
They're doing Panthers at Commies. Panthers at Commies for that crew.
Does that mean Brady's doing Niners Chiefs?
Yes.
Okay.
But like, wouldn't they be better off doing?
That's
I mean,
an
there's not many CBS games, so like, I don't know. Even Titans at Bills, I'd rather do with those guys.
All right, Commies minus 6.5.
Nope. Commies minus 7.5.
What? Come on, that's a crazy line.
7.5. This is your America's Game of the Week. This is Kansas City at San Francisco.
Kansas City at San Francisco?
Kansas City at San
Is
Francisco.
this a must-win game for the Niners?
No. Too early. Burkhardt, Brady, Aaron Andrews, Tom Rinaldi. I always forget Rinaldi's on that crew. I never hear him. I just hear Andrews. I never hear him.
He always comes on our pregame when they do
he's the
game.
nicest guy ever.
He's the best.
Yeah,
Niners
the best.
minus 3.
Nope. Niners minus 1.5. And I had heard that Mahomes as a dog of 1 to 4 is like 102.
Their way's been a dog 102 times.
No, I know. But it's like that overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when he's a dog, he wins.
He's going to win.
Yeah. All right, we are to Sunday Night Football.
I don't even feel like I don't even feel bad about this. I feel like I feel pretty good about
I'm
my
going to be honest
feel.
with you. I think your feel's good. I think that this is a very strange week because some of these are huge. You missed one of them by 5.5 and 5.5 points. Like that's
Detroit
very
not favored?
strange.
They just smoked the Cowboys.
I don't know. Jets at Steelers. Jets at Steelers. You know what I think on the Justin Fields thing? I think that the Steelers, while he is a wonderful fantasy player and you can win with him, they see no path forward with him long term, and so they're willing to.
That has to be. I mean, why
But it's just such. I don't know, but like obviously there's something with the way that he goes about his business that like George Pickens was on some FS1 show talking about Russ and Fields. Like, which one do you prefer? They asked him. Like, why would they allow Pickens to be on anything? But he did, and he was weighing in on it.
What
I
did
just
he
think
say?
It didn't really matter to him. He just wants to win for a guy who's on a route count, who runs about half his routes full speed. No, I just think it's a very strange decision to make. At 4-2, 4 of his 6 starts, he's got a passer rating over 90.
I know.
He's such a weapon in the red zone. Russ won't be any of that. And I think you had
so
the chance
offensive
to build
coordinators
him.
must not like him.
Clearly, they must leave a lot of stuff on the field on film that you don't see. But the crazy thing is, he still produces both statistically and in results. They're 4-2. Like, I don't know. Couldn't you build something around him? I don't know. And I think you risk by doing this. I think you risk from their standpoint. I think you risk him never being able to, like, confident shot. Like if he's benched after going 4-2, what do you want? There he is. The kid's back. What's he wearing?
A Bucks hoodie.
I like it.
Hey, we should ask him about Notre Dame poaching his 4-star.
A little Euro step.
Jets at Steelers.
Jets minus 2.5.
Nope. Jets minus 1.5.
Well, a lot of these are in weird places.
They're in weird places. I can confirm. Monday Night Football.
I think you talked me into that's the new 2.5, and every time I've got 2.5, it's missed.
Monday Night Football. It is another one of those double headers. One on ESPN. Is this right? One's on ESPN and one's on ESPN Plus. It's not an ABC.
Correct.
No, one of them's an ABC, right?
I think ABC is taking the ESPN joint feed. I think this is going to be an ESPN Plus
streaming
exclusive.
only.
Oh God.
Yep.
Ravens at Bucks. First.
Ravens.
This is the Aikman game. Aikman Buck.
Ravens minus 4.5.
Ravens minus 3.5.
4-10,
dude. What the what?
Yeah,
they're gonna lose. You might as well lose.
Chargers Cardinals is an ESPN Plus exclusive.
That sucks. Chargers at Cards. This is Fowler, Riddick, Orlovsky, and Rutledge on the call. ESPN Plus only. Chargers at Cards.
So, backed up on the start times. Ravens Buccaneers is 8:15, the normal Monday night time.
Yeah.
Chargers Cards is 9 o'clock.
Oh God, you couldn't do the 7 and 8:30 thing.
No,
So much better.
not with this one.
Just jerks.
And
Do you guys think this? And this goes back to the baseball thing I was talking about. I think people are just throwing stuff at the wall. They bought all the rights to all this stuff. I see it with college football too. Some of these Friday night or Saturday night 10-20 kicks. Like they bought all the rights to all this stuff, and they're just trying to see where they can find new audience.
Yep,
that's my theory. Chargers at Cards.
Chargers at Cards. Chargers -3.
Got it. Chargers -2.5.
Oh, and then there's the 2.5.
There's your
5
2
and
and a
10.
half. So as soon as you said that, I looked at that one.
Yeah.
I thought, oh. All right, that's all right. So we got you and I got some things to sort out between now and the scores.
Yes.
To continue our winning ways.
I feel good about the scores.
I viewed it very similarly that you did.
I feel very good about. I still feel good about the scores. We're on a heater, dude. We're on a heater. This is what we do. What we do is the scores.
All right, very good. We got 4 downs coming your way next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850
man.
ESPN Cleveland. Friends at Jim Beam, what do sports and Jim Beam have in common? Both are better when enjoyed with others. So grab a bottle, gather your friends, and enjoy the game, because with Jim Beam, you come as fans and leave as family. Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume. Copyright the 2024 James B. Beam Distilling Company, Claremont, Kentucky. Drink smart. And now, here is Nick Chubb at the podium.
Hey, Nick,
You guys are down over 6 minutes.
what are your emotions like just a couple days before returning to the field?
I feel like I've been feeling for a while now. I'm just ready to get out there with my team, ready to do whatever I can. I feel good.
How anxious are you to hear that crowd Sunday, especially after what you wrote in the Players Tribune?
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm worried about Wednesday though, but I know it'll be a good thing going back out there.
Hey, Nick, how does that essay come about? Do you go to them, or do they come to you and ask you?
Well, I have a friend that works with Players Tribune, and she reached out, said it'd be a cool story, and I've been wanting to do it because they do a great job with the stories they create, and I thought it'd be a good time now. So, yeah, we kind of just worked on it together, and it came out really good.
How long did it take you to write that? That was really good.
Yeah, well, they help you a lot, so I will say that. But they called me, we went over some things, and they put it together and made it really good.
So Nick, I know when you to have your story out there and to be able to share it with the fans the way that you did.
It means a lot because, people only see me on Sundays, and they don't know what it's been like this past year. It's been a lot of downs, a lot of hard work, a lot of stress, and so that kind of gives them a little insight on what's actually been going on.
Nick, you alluded to being obviously a quiet guy in that. I guess what, besides them reaching out, what prompted you to want to share so much about what's been going on in your head this last year?
Just trying to give back, a little bit. I am kind of a closed-off guy, so I thought it'd be good. I thought people would appreciate me opening up a little bit, and especially at a time like this.
You've gone through it before, but in this current rehab, was there a moment when you said, where you knew that you were going to be able to get back to being yourself?
I think the first time I ever ran, I knew I would be back. It was just a monumental moment for me to actually run again. And I knew at that moment that I'd become back to where I was.
Was that here or in Georgia? Or where?
It was here.
Nick, what makes this place, this town, this team so special, and why is it so much in your heart and in the fabric of your being?
I think it's the people here in Cleveland that make it what it is. People here, they want to win, and they love sports here, the sports town. You can't be mad at people for being upset when things aren't going good. So I think the people here, the love they have for us and everyone in the city is what makes it special.
Do you ever think that you could feel the same kind of love from a fan base that you did while you were at Georgia? And are you ever amazed by the outpouring of love and support for you here?
Yeah, I am. Because we always hear that NFL isn't the same as college, but I can't tell a difference here in Cleveland. It's the same love that I had in my college town of UGA, and so it's the same thing.
In the article, you said you were meant for this city. Why do you think that is?
I just think we have the same similarities, same characteristics. People here are hardworking. That's what I am. I pride myself in being that, and I think we just have very similar things in that aspect.
Nick, you mentioned the doubts about whether or not you would come back when it first happened. And I know the running was a big part of it, but mentally and emotionally, how did you overcome those doubts?
I think just because I've been through it before, and I knew what to expect, I knew how to go about it. I think that definitely helped me, and also just the support I've had with the trainers here, the strength coaches here, my people back home, the doctors at University Hospital. I think all that just gave me confidence in myself.
What is your reaction to the team being 1-5?
I'm taking it one day at a time. We are who we are, a 1-5 team. Nothing we can do about the past. Just continue to work forward and move forward.
You know the reaction and saw the reaction with your teammates as they walked by and saw you. What have they been able to do impactfully as you've been on this journey and worked your way back?
Just always had my back, through thick and thin. When times were bad, they told me, just keep working. I'll be back one day, and it's finally here.
The fans, are so excited to have you back, and they think you can maybe breathe some life into the team. Do you feel the same way that you can reinvigorate this offense?
I want to do whatever I can to go out there and help us win on Sunday, however that looks like. If I'm just bringing energy to the crowd, if that helps us win, then I'm all for it.
You know that this is a business, but how tough is it to see Coop go?
It's really tough. Played with Coop for 3 years. One of my best teammates I've probably ever had. How he just worked hard and didn't say much. Every day came and went to work and, showed on the field. We'll definitely miss him here.
How about Deshaun has been so embattled over the past several weeks, just with, it seems like the whole world against him. What do you make of all that, and what can you do to maybe do your part to help?
Yeah, Deshaun's strong. I couldn't imagine what he's going through. Everyone always knows what's going on in his life, and that's hard. But to see him go out there and still compete and give his all, it says a lot about him and who he is. And I think guys around him need to, go out there and fight harder for him and with him.
Nick, just with the record at 1-5 in the offense, struggling the way it has, do you, as you come back, have to remind yourself, don't try and do too much too early as you get back out there again?
Sorry, what was that?
With the offense struggling, you guys at 1-5, do you have to remind yourself, hey, don't try to do too much too soon as you come back for this? Put too much pressure on yourself, I guess?
Yeah, I'm just go out there and be who I've always been. However that looks now, that's who I'll be.
Did that moment last year when you donned the Batman mask and went out there and smashed the guitar and just the whole place kind of erupted, did that sort of encapsulate the intense relationship that you have with this fan base?
Yeah, it did. That a special moment too. We clinched playoffs that night. I think it was a night game. Everyone was very excited, and just go out there, and that's all I could do was bring energy to the crowd at that point. So whatever I need to do to get the win.
Let's go. Let's go for Nick Chubb, baby. Let's go. Time for a little 4 downs in college football with your Uncle Bo and college football Nate.
Yeah. Let's go.
Let's go.
I don't know if you know this about college football, Nate,
Let's see if
but
I
am.
Nate? Oh, about college football Nate.
Yeah.
I got you.
About college football Nate. But
I don't. Many things I don't know
many
about
people
college
think
football,
that
Nate.
I am really a big, Pac-12 guy. True.
Yeah, true.
That I really like the Big Ten. Also true. SEC, great football. But it's really, for me, I think my first true love was the ACC. And there's a matchup happening this weekend of such historic significance. And just it's like the heart and soul of the ACC.
Okay.
SMU at Stanford. I can't get enough of that.
Speaks.
I can't get enough of it. I can't get enough
He comes
of
with
it.
jokes now.
I can't get enough
College
of it.
football Nate comes with jokes.
I can't get enough of it. I'm like,
Way to go, Feinbaum.
this is like when I was one. It was Stanford,
this-
SMU,
you were raised on
and
this.
here it is, 45 years later.
You were raised on it. Yeah.
It is classic. I mean, people.
They have so much in
Michigan,
common.
Ohio State. I feel like we're prisoners of that because we're in Ohio.
Sure,
but I
yeah.
think if we were doing this show either in the
Anywhere
Bay Area
else.
where I was raised or in Texas, you'd be saying SMU, Stanford.
SMU,
That's the big
Stanford.
game.
Let's go. Yeah.
Yep.
It's great. I think it's a
peak
great
ACC.
point out of you.
Thank you.
Hit it, Kev.
First down.
Reality or overreaction? The Oregon game showed that Ohio State is talented, but not talented enough to win a national championship. Nate.
I mean, a couple things at play here. First of all, it's clear that, just because your name is Denzel and you play cornerback at Ohio State, that it doesn't guarantee success. I think that was something that maybe we assumed would be true. Turns out not. I'm concerned about the secondary's ability to hold up against higher scoring offenses. But at the end of the day, the Oregon Ducks are cheaters. And and they put 12 guys on the field on purpose. They've admitted to it. That should have been blown dead before the ball was ever snapped. We should still have 10 seconds and enough time to get a field goal. I was very impressed with our quarterback, Mr. Howard. Thought he looked very poised in this game. But the secondary is my biggest concern coming out of it. And I think if anything could derail the national championship of this $85 million team, it's that.
Yeah. So I think this is an overreaction as it is phrased because talent is not the problem. Talent is not the problem at all. The problem is when talent equates, they lose more often than they win. That's the problem. And so while they
Is
are
Ryan
slightly
Day the
more
problem?
talented, I'll tell you what the problem is. In a situation on a passing down, when you drop 4 linemen into coverage, including 2 that you were 5-star DNs, and you rush 2 linebackers, that's a failure.
What are we doing?
On a lot of levels. They did not get pressure. They did not get home. The mismanagement in the last 30 seconds was complete malfeasance. A little of it's on Howard. Most of it's on not understanding the circumstances at all. And so they need to win one of these games, and they haven't won one. They beat Oregon. They beat Notre Dame last year with Kyle McCord. That's a top 5 win. Other than that, they've lost 5 of them.
So a lot of people who subscribe to my college football blog, a lot of the comments have been saying, "Is Ryan Day the guy?" And is it his beard or whatever it is that is keeping him back?
The beard.
There's a lot of people who are not
holding him back.
They're not liking his
chatter.
beard. Yeah,
yeah.
It's not like our beards. Apparently,
No,
apparently it's a weird looking beard.
Beards do nothing but win. I don't know. I don't know if the beard would be to blame. I think nerviness.
Is there right now?
Mm-hmm.
And I won't put you on the spot, given you personally, but I'm saying, is there a group of people? It feels like coming from the S County, there seems to be some unrest, and I'm hearing things like Vrabel.
Here's what I'd tell you, coming from the S County and those type of places. Those type of folks and the folks that he can be around, those folks are being asked to do more than they've ever done before. And so when you ask a lot, much is expected.
Yeah.
And boosters and people funding collectives have more power than they've ever had in the sport.
Yeah.
Because they're funding the rosters.
Yeah.
So there's pressure there.
Of course, let's also just say that with the new college football system, like, this team's going to the playoff. Let's worry about what we do there.
Even if they were to lose to Penn State, they're going to be 10-2. They're going to make the postseason.
Yeah.
So
Next.
Second down.
All right, we got to go rapid fire. Regarding too many men on
Well, we're gonna run
too
out
many
of time.
men penalty on Oregon with 10 seconds left in the OSU game.
Already
Should the
said
rule be changed to put time back on the clock?
They're already changed it. So they're already making changes to it. It's a good job out of Dan Lanning, the coach at Oregon, for knowing the rule and taking full advantage of it.
Belichickian.
Very savvy. So good job out of him. But they're already meeting this
But what
week
I
to
don't
change
understand is that should have been seen immediately and blown the play dead by the rule, right? That's how it was supposed to be officiated.
Yes.
But it was not.
Correct. And at the very least, you should say that play did not ever happen. Here's 5 yards and put the clock to 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Final one.
Third down.
Fact or fiction, the winner of Texas-Georgia will be the number 1 seed in this year's college football playoff. They play Saturday night.
Fiction only if it's Texas. If Georgia wins, Georgia will still have a loss, and they still have to play Tennessee. They're still going to have to play in an SEC title game. Georgia could lose again. If Texas wins, there's not really anything left on their schedule that would get them 2 losses, and a 1-loss SEC champ will be the number 1 seed.
So you're saying if they were to lose then in the SEC championship game, in a good game, they would still be the 1 seed?
Yeah, if that's their only loss, yeah. Because their strength of schedule is crazy, and Georgia's is too. Yeah.
Okay. Same.
There we go. All right.
What about fourth down?
Army and Navy will not be the 12 seed. Although Army's legit good and the schedule's pretty easy, there's no reason Army really could be undefeated. They really could. Navy's really good. We're Navy men.
Yeah, come on. I was going to say, what's going on right now?
Navy could get there too. It's in play. They're both ranked.
Yeah.
But they only have to take one group of 5 team, and I'd be shocked if it wasn't Boise State.
You want that guy on the main stage.
Yeah, exactly, because he'll probably, right now, he's win the Heisman.
By the way, is BYU for real?
They are, but they're in the Big 12. So much more to come. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. And be sure to catch the Browns preview show presented by Tostitos tonight, 7 to 8, University Hospital's Cleveland Browns Radio Network. Winston Reed and Browns play-by-play voice Andrew Siciliano join Ken and Gerard right here on 850 ESPN Cleveland. And now, the next level is next. Thanks for listening, everybody. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.